Cool. Right, brilliant. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. So, welcome to the BU podcast. This podcast is designed to open up professionals around their background, challenges, and have more vulnerable conversations. This week, we are joined by David Breakspear. Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm very, very touched to have you on, mate,
Awesome,
because
mate.
obviously we've built up a really good friendship on LinkedIn.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, I like to think so. And it's the first time we're meeting now, and I don't know too much about you, but obviously I've heard very, very good things. So let's sort of get into the introductory for yourself. Tell us in a small summary, otherwise I've been all day, a little bit about yourself, like what you do now, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I'm someone that spent a very long time trapped in the revolving doors of crisis and crime of the criminal justice system. And then in 2015, I suppose, found my way out. I spotted my exit sign. And I was released in 2017 from my 9th and final prison sentence.
Right.
And ever since then, I've lived a life free of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been using what I'd like to think is my extensive experience of the criminal justice system to influence change and to, especially with people that are responsible for policy and practice.
Okay.
That's me.
So that just to give everyone, 'cause that's some big words for us, is basically working with the criminal justice systems in different prisons to look at maybe prisoners that are in there that could be neurodivergent, or are you actually going in and helping prisoners to become more comfortable with being potentially neurodivergent?
Well, it's a mixture of anything, really.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not just neurodiversity I have experience of. My own, obviously, neurodivergence. I've got experience with a number of things, so it isn't just neurodiversity I speak about, but there are times where I go into prison and it will be on the back of a neurodiversity support manager.
Right, okay.
Well, I don't go into prison on the back of a neurodiversity support manager. They actually ask me to come in.
You're right, okay.
So I will be talking to a group of lads that are neurodivergent. And really it's just to, give them hope. Prison doesn't have to be the end. Neurodivergency doesn't have to be the end. But also I speak to staff as well, because in one aspect they're more important to speak to, because especially if you're undiagnosed and you're not sure how your brain works, they're going to be doing things that could get them a lot of trouble in prison. There's something that's known as control and restraint, which is controlling somebody.
Right, okay.
And the majority of people that are subject to control and restraint are neurodivergent. And it's about getting prison staff just to take a second, just take a moment and take a step back.
So is that like, should we really potentially go hands-on with someone if they've got autism to kind of, do we really need to, where they could cause additional stress?
I can understand why a prison officer would resort to control and restraint procedures straight away, rather than dynamic security using his mouth.
Okay.
Because he may have experience of other violent situations or incidences in prison. So he's going to have conscious bias as well as unconscious bias.
That makes sense.
And confirmation bias as well.
Right. And what's that mean?
Well, confirmation bias is you think something might happen, and if it does happen...
The predictability of
what... Well, yeah, it's like all prisoners, for argument's sake, all people in prison that are ADHD will fight.
Right.
If someone has a fighter who's got ADHD, that's going to confirm his bias.
Right, so they're already preempting of their experience or perception of ADHD. They're a nightmare. That means if we don't restrain them now, there's going to be a riot, for example. Right. Okay.
But as I say, I mean, it's about eye contact. We had a conversation quickly about eye contact, and it's like, if someone's not looking at you directly in the eyes, they're being disobedient. Well, no, they're not.
No, right.
They could be neurodivergent. So there might be another reason behind it. Spice, just a quick change of subject, and there's going to be many. Spice, when that first had a massive impact in prison, someone could collapse with a heart attack or collapse for another reason that isn't anything to do with spice.
But they assumed
the prison staff were assuming it was spice.
Right, okay.
And therefore their care, their efficiency, their speed
Right.
wouldn't be as it used to be
Okay.
if someone was actually collapsing.
So-
They'd be on it, and
So they're seeing the symptoms, but they're preempting what the symptoms
exactly.
are, which means then potentially they could be put on a different care plan when they actually don't need the right care
And here
plan.
comes confirmation bias again, that a lot of people in jail are going over every day on spice.
Yeah,
as
right.
in having medical attacks.
Yeah,
Couldn't
okay.
think of the right word.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
think- It's in there somewhere. I might get it out later. Probably once we're finished.
Yeah.
But so that confirmation bias is there. It's
Right.
like if you're a certain person, you're going to be a certain person.
Yeah. So
And
you're
they're
basically
not
put in a
gonna look
box,
past that.
put in the same box.
Yeah, and that's what I try and get staff to do, is just like, don't stereotype.
Yeah.
Everyone's an individual. I remember a governor, Colin New, his name was. He's probably dead now, bless him, because I'm going back a few years. But when he used to speak to prison officers, he used to talk to them about, if you're walking down the landing and you're doing welfare checks, so basically you unlock in the morning,
Yeah.
you poke your head in the door just
Yeah.
to make sure that
Yeah,
everything's all right. And let's call him Bill. Bill's in his bed, and you open him, morning Bill, morning officer,
Yeah.
whatever the name is. And he does that every day. And then one day, morning Bill, leave me alone, get out of my
Yeah,
cell.
yeah.
Don't nick him,
Yeah.
because he's shown that he's a really nice lad.
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
last
yeah.
3 weeks, he's been saying good morning.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, so something's gone wrong. You need to find out what's gone wrong. Don't punish him for that behaviour.
Yeah.
Because it's out of character. So you need to understand what's gone on in that fella's life. And then that is intervention,
Right. Okay.
not punishment. And
Yeah.
from intervention, you get prevention. I'm talking about suicide prevention
Right,
in this
okay.
aspect. I don't know what the fella's gone through. No one knows what Bill's gone through unless you ask him.
Yeah.
He might have had a bad telephone call. One of his siblings or his parents may have died.
Right. Okay.
His partner might have finished with him.
But they jumped to straight away to intervention or prevent or whatever.
They jump straight away to punishment.
Right. Oh, right.
Because
Blimey.
of
Wow.
It's being in prison. You need to be careful about giving someone the benefit of the doubt, because it could end up with you getting seriously hurt.
Right.
You're in an environment, and I'm not making this up, but there's a lot of manipulative, dangerous people in prison.
Right.
And if you not turn your back on them, but if you give someone the benefit of the doubt, that could come back and seriously bite you in the arse.
Okay. Wow, it's very interesting. Right, but we're going to come to the prison and the work that you do there now. But let's talk about you growing up.
Yep.
You ready?
Here we go.
Straight in. So tell us, like, you spoke to me outside and we're talking about your family, but obviously I want to hear it for the podcast. But tell us a little bit about you growing up.
Well, I was born youngest of 6. Funny enough, my mum and dad they went girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy.
Right, okay.
I was the last one, so obviously I must have been the perfect one, because they didn't look after me. But I wasn't. I'm the tie-dye one. I was the one that was always getting into trouble. And the thing was, did I mention I'm youngest of 6? Yeah. So I've got 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
Right, okay.
And from a local area, local school.
Right.
So everywhere they've been, I go, I follow. So it's being compared to them all the time. I'd go to the local shop being compared to, or I'd be called by one of my siblings' names before they'd call my name. And that's at home, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as with hindsight,
Yeah.
I'm able to look back and see where I was struggling with an identity.
Right.
Really struggled to.
So you're kind of then like, so as you're talking about your brothers and sisters, it was you're like, it's all them, and then you're just this last one behind. It's always just kind of like, don't forget David. Or,
unless it come to clothes, and I'd have hand-me-down clothes, you know what I mean? Because I'd have my brother's trousers and things like that, because going through the same schools. But at school, I was always being compared. It was either, oh, you're nothing like your brother, or you're nothing like your sister. Oh, why can't you be like your brother?
Yeah.
Why can't you be like your sister? Because I'm fucking me.
Yeah,
That's why I can't be like anyone
yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry.
That's right.
So I, as I say, I really struggled to have an identity. And then at a young age, the age of 8, I was sexually abused. Spent a period of time being sexually abused by, and sometimes it's like I asked for it. Do you know what I mean? It feels, it's a toy shop owner, and I kept going back. I said it lasted a year.
Do you think that was on no fault of your own? Do you think that because what was the kind of dynamics with your parents? Was it quite a sort of loving relationship with your
No.
Was it quite a loving? What was the relationship with your brothers and sisters? Quite loving or not?
Well, obviously they're older than me. I had a really good relationship with my next sister up.
Right. Okay.
She taught me to read at a young age.
Yeah.
We kind of grew up together, if you like. But then over the years, we drifted apart. And I suppose as well that I was the only one like that in my family. Or I thought, as far as I was concerned, I was the only one like it when I was in my family. I forgot your question.
So don't worry. So yeah. So was there a loving relationship with your parents? Yes, with your sister. So what I'm trying to come into the question.
We weren't a cuddly family.
No,
we weren't a very emotional family.
No,
on those
okay.
lines.
But was you quite emotional then? Would you sort of...
I was really emotional.
Yeah.
There's loads of pictures of me as a kid where I'm crying.
Right.
You know
Okay.
I mean? In family pictures and things.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
God knows what gone on.
Yeah.
Probably been picked on by one of my brothers or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But that, and I'm not blaming them. Christ, I mean, I was the youngest of 6, and we're kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if there are other people out there that are youngest of 6 that will probably say the same thing as me. That you get
I'm just trying to get what I'm trying to get to is
right.
like the toy shop thing and that.
Well, it was local. It was literally 30 yards down the road, 40 yards down the road. So
that must be at that age going through something that is probably the worst possible thing that could possibly happen to a child at that possible age.
One of the worst things, yeah.
Yeah. How can that even?
Well, it didn't feel wrong.
It didn't feel wrong. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How
and I was being
what was you being
gifts.
Gifts?
Well, he owned a toy shop.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's like your
perfect, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. So, Lego kits, Airfix models,
right?
Things like I used to love making Airfix models, and it was like if you didn't have no money, you knew how to get them.
Yeah.
So in a way, I kind of look back sometimes and think to myself, what on earth were you doing, boy? But of course I didn't understand.
You didn't understand back then, no.
I didn't.
No.
And even though I was the youngest of 6, I would say that I was extremely independent as well. I was always out the house, like on the old latchkey kid. Although I didn't have a key, used to break in. So yeah, I really was an independent kid, and I was always out and about and getting into stuff and things like that.
How did that then that sort of relationship with the toy shop, and how did you get out of that relationship?
Mate, you ain't going to believe this.
Because
right,
like from
it was happening to me and a friend of mine, and we started to work out a plan,
right,
how we could steal stuff, money, goods, like toys and things like that. Whilst basically it was an old-fashioned door, so we had a bell on top of the door.
Yeah.
So when you walk through the door, the bell would go off, and he'd come into the main bit of the shop. Before if there's no one in the shop, it'd either be upstairs, out the back, down the base, wherever he was. And so we used to go in. The bell would ring. One of us would hide.
Right. Okay.
And then the other one, whatever things would happen with the other one. But on the way out, the one downstairs would nick something.
Right.
So on the way out, the doorbell would ring, the bell would
ring. Yeah.
So he'd have to come downstairs, and then the other lad, either myself or I won't mention him, the other lad, we'd come down. But he found out. He caught us.
Right.
And he threatened to phone the police on us. He was abusing us and threatened to phone the police on us because we were stealing from him. How's that?
It doesn't.
Hello, morals.
Yeah. So how did that? So. Do you? I'm trying to word this right, but after that and all this experience, after the way, like you said to me outside, you can the smells, the trauma that you've gone through.
It was trauma. It's not trauma anymore.
No, but
it's not trauma anymore.
Okay, so
not to say it doesn't have an impact on me now and again.
Yeah.
There are times where I do get upset by it. Not by talking about it.
No.
It would be at the most inopportune moment. I'd be watching the telly.
Brushing your teeth or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the thought come to me. I mean, or I'd just be going to sleep and I remember something. Oh, what did I do? You know, those sort of things.
Do you think then that element of that horrific grief, trauma at that period of time has then now probably affected the way you have tried to live your life from an earlier age as a kid to maybe going in the direction you have?
I kind of survived, I suppose,
Did you tell your parents?
as a kid.
Did you tell your parents
No,
that though? No.
but I did tell. I won't say who because it's
Yeah.
not my story. But I did tell a family member,
Yeah.
and found out that two specific family
Yeah.
members had been also abused, not by the toy shop owner, but
Right.
by a neighbour. And I think in the 70s and the 80s, you would have been, rather than unlucky to have been abused, you were lucky not to have been abused.
Right.
Because there was so much going on with it. There was so. You look at the kind of. Well, yeah.
I'm getting a bit choked up with it. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, it's still going on now as well. And one of the biggest things in the 70s and 80s that the government did that was wrong was stranger danger, because it was people you knew. Do you know what I mean? It weren't strangers. It was, well, yeah, people.
And being
you knew.
neurodivergent, the vulnerability side, and us, the people
pleasing.
pleasing,
Exactly.
the people pleasing element. Like, oh, okay, that's normal behaviour. That's okay. I'm going to carry on with it. So after that, then he said he was going to call the police. You then got out of that reward gratification. People pleasing.
Never got back. Never went back into that shop again.
Yeah. How did that then develop over the years? Then, so you mentioned about being at school. Tell me a little bit about your school reports.
Well, school reports.
Here we go.
School report. I mean, I used to infant school, which is prime, but it's all years now, isn't it? I can't keep up with it. But in infant school, I used to have to eat my lunches in the headmistress's office.
Because you're so disruptive, or
because I'd steal food from people in the canteen, in the dining room,
right?
I don't remember. I kind of. Well, you don't know how much has changed over the years, how much you remember. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things that I remember that it's like, did that happen, or I'm not sure. But there's some things where it's like, I know, you know what I mean? It's as clear as the day. Yeah. And one of those is eating. I don't know why. If I want to say it's because that I tricked someone to turn around and I stole their sausage or something like that.
This is at a really early age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was probably 5.
Did you not? Do you sort of look back at that now and then look at the behaviour? Because we all know the ADHD route: too sensitive, too much, chaotic, blah blah blah. At an early age, doing sort of tricks and tricks.
It's sort of kicking and screaming in the school.
Yeah,
at a young age. I hated it. Absolutely. Still do. I think it was Mark Twain. No, what do I mean? I know it was Mark Twain that said, "I didn't let schooling interfere with my education."
Wow. So you doing all these tricks and traps. So you're eating your dinner or lunch or whatever at the headmistress because you're just too disruptive.
I assume.
Assume so. Yeah.
But then I was in the I was 10, so not long after the abuse had stopped, and I contracted meningitis.
Right.
Which is obviously quite a serious illness. And that also messed up with my school, because when I come out of hospital, I went back to school part-time.
Right, okay.
And that was towards the end of my junior years.
Yeah.
I actually passed my 11 plus, but the grammar school wouldn't take me because of my behaviour.
Right.
And I ended up going to a school where, mates went.
Yeah,
It was... funny enough, in 1997, I think it was, when the school league tables were introduced. Right. The school, it was known as Cunningham when I went there, but they changed it to Ramsgate School, and it was the worst school in the country, the whole country twice. Like,
so is that like a naughty school for?
No, it's just a normal secondary school. Slap bang in the middle of a council estate. Some professor from Canterbury University even wrote a book. Yeah. It's called Counselling. Was it Schooling the Estate Kids?
Right, okay.
And it talks about our school, because they used to have, they got Canterbury Training College, Teacher Training College, and he talks about how what they called the supply teachers.
Yeah.
Would come from, and if they got told they were going to Cunningham, they'd cry.
Right.
That's the kind of, and I got expelled from there.
Yeah. Wow.
I got suspended many times before getting expelled.
Do you think then, sort of, I'm hearing the story, I'm sort of piecing it together in my brain. Being a son or a brother to that sort of family, your family, at early age, doing all this tricks, eating with the head mistress in the desk. Do you think a lot of that does stem from maybe attention or having, maybe because your sisters and brothers took the limelight and you said you were sort of following behind?
Yeah,
do you think there was a lot of
I think
sort
so.
of
Yeah,
want the attention or to be maybe more involved with
I
with
think
the sorts
so.
of things?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I was definitely the class clown.
yeah.
All the way
Easily
through,
distracting everyone.
from infant, junior, and senior school.
Always
I was
talking.
a class clown. Yeah, always being told to shut up.
Yeah,
Always had a lot of energy.
yeah,
I was back in the day when the street lights come on, that was your tea.
right,
That's when
yeah,
you go home and get your tea. Do you know what I mean? We in a local park, always in this local park as a
Yeah.
kid, always out and about. I
Yeah.
was never always up to
Can't
something.
stay in. No, can't do that.
No, not at all. Always up to something.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
if I weren't well, things like that, I'd stay in.
Yeah.
And one thing I used to love as well were family parties.
Yeah.
Family parties. But I'd always end up upset.
Right, always.
For one reason or another.
Yeah.
Either one of my favourite aunts is going home or
Right.
whatever.
When you're growing, this is growing.
Yeah, this is young age.
Yeah.
There's a lot of photos. I think I said it about a lot of photo families with me crying in them.
Yeah.
At events. Which ironically, as I've become an adult, I started getting banned from events because.
Well, we're going to save that thought, David. So, growing up 10, we'll go to like more the teenage years. You did mention outside, but we'll go for the podcast that you don't have a relationship with your brothers and sisters anymore, which will probably come later. When
Doubt it.
well,
The relationship. We can still talk.
we'll talk about the
that.
relationship, but and that's your own choice, just because maybe they'll.
Yeah, because I don't want to regress.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I always feel like I regress when I ever go back.
Do you think that takes you back as elastic band as a
does.
childhood? Like
Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm 56. I go back there. I feel like 12.
Yeah, come
Honestly.
here, David.
Yeah. Well, they're not like that with
Yeah.
some aspect. And do you know what? If they, I don't know if they know what I do now. But I think they'd be embarrassed by what I do now because I'm so open and honest about things. So what are you telling people that for?
Could you then think that if you found out your brother or sister was neurodivergent, would there then be a level of maybe empathy from your side, knowing that what you know now being neurodivergent with the ADHD, that there'd be a different side to that?
It might be.
Yeah?
Yeah, it might be.
But you don't. But it's not.
I'm too long in the tooth now.
Really?
I love life. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I was an only child. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. So was I.
And I ain't that. I don't want to be detrimental to my brothers and sisters because
Yeah,
it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was their youngest brother.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Really, I get upset on the telly when I see like brothers and sisters have a really good relationship, and they're old, like in their 70s, and they're still
together. Yeah.
that really does depress me. I get really upset by that because it's like, why can I have had that? Do you know what I mean?
That's what you've always wanted. Then that's what you've wanted, a
And
brother
I
to look up to, or sister.
And I think rather than try to get that, I got my attention another way.
and
being
that's
a dickhead.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So tell us about then the teenage years. Then.
Oh dear.
Ooh, showstopper.
So go on.
Go on, mate. Go on, mate. You're ready. You're ready.
Well, I'm happy talking about it. You know what I mean? I don't mind.
Tell us about the teenage years then. So you've gone through that. You've gone through. There was going back to the element. I think going back to sort of the high school, whatever. Was there actually some subjects that you really did enjoy being?
Geography. Geography.
Geography.
Senior school.
Yeah. Okay.
And do you know what? Geography. And the teacher's name was Miss Hoare.
Right. Okay.
And I was horrible. I was a little bastard. And it's strange that I would get on with it, and I never took the mickey out of her name. Other kids took the mickey out of her name, and they'd get it from me.
Just it's set the ADHD sense of justice.
Oh, mate, honestly. It's
You
like,
don't say that to my
don't you
favourite.
talk to her like that.
Yeah.
And my PE teachers.
So exercise and geography were the two major sort of things
I
for you.
loved PE.
Exercise
Mr.
for you?
Stoner, Mr. Henstridge, and Mr. Giorgetti were three PE teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm going back now. I was permanently excluded at 14, so I'm going back 42 years.
Wow.
And I still remember those teachers.
Because and I think I was finding that because we're so empathetic and we do feel things really deeply, is that we forget our phone, wallets, keys, chargers, headsets, but we remember how someone made us feel back in 2003 because they didn't reply to a message.
Do you know what? I never played up in a class.
Yeah.
I
Do you think that's because you genuinely were enjoying that subject?
Yeah, no, I loved it. But then I've always had a love for history as well.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was obviously... I wasn't looking for a hero. I wasn't looking for an anti-hero. I was looking for something. Yeah. And I was in the library. I used to love going to the library. Always using microfiche.
Right.
Probably not too many young people won't know what that is, but it's the 70s and 80s internet.
Right. Reminds me of the paperclip man.
Yeah,
with the
basically, yeah. And my nan used to live around the corner, and she's my favourite nan.
Yeah.
And she used to live around the corner from the library, so I'd always go to my nan's, go to this library. But this thing was mine.
Right.
And I'd read the paper, and it was about this guy called Charlie Richardson. People probably heard of him. He was a South London gangster. But he had walked out of prison or escaped prison.
Well, just
done my head in.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was 10, and I read it, and he walked out of an open prison, Spring Hill, and went on the run for 5 years and ended up in South Africa in some diamond mine or something. But he was the person that got me interested in organised crime.
Right. At this earlier age.
At the age of 10. And that was my thing. No one knew about it. I used to go to the library and read up on it and things like that.
Would you say that had a massive influence then, because, or maybe going to the...
No, because I don't think I've ever...
You just enjoyed listening about talking about the crime.
I loved it. I loved it. And I've loved it for years. I mean, I've only really recently just taken the back step from it. I've had books published. Well, I've had stories and books published. True crime stories. Facebook, I used to... Because I'm going to jump forward here. Yeah. When I come out of prison in 2017, I had to get used to the social media and the internet and things like that. Not so much the internet, but social media. Never really used it properly before. And I knew that I wanted to use my lived experience as well. So I kind of used my organised crime knowledge on social media to get used to using social media.
Because people love that sort of stuff.
Well,
really, genuinely like
I used to be an admin for about 30 groups.
Really?
I mean, I was on it.
How'd you get
to
organise that?
I was on it 24/7.
Yeah, just addicted.
Excuse me.
That's all right.
I was what they call monitors.
Moderators.
Moderators. That's it. Admin moderators.
Yeah.
Some of them, Jesus Christ, it's Facebook. Get over yourself. You are not running a small country. It's Facebook. It's a page on Facebook. Some of them take it so seriously.
Yeah, of course they do.
But I did at the start. And then I kind of sort of loosened up a bit. And then I've become really comfortable with social media. And I started using Facebook and Twitter. And
now LinkedIn.
I got rid of them to use because... For me, what I found was with Twitter and with Facebook, the stuff that I was posting and talking about the criminal justice system, I ended up either justifying or defending. Right. Whereas on LinkedIn, I found I was sharing a message. And that's a big difference.
You do well.
Thank you very much.
And
it gets exhausting when you have to justify and defend all the time.
And I think I'm going to bring you back into the thing in the mix, but I think one thing that I do love about you is that you're very honest and vulnerable, which I think for some people to be, I know as ADHDers, when you speak to another ADHDer,
my lived experience is my armour. Honestly, it's my armour.
Because you are here, it's never defined you, but you're the person you are today because of what you've done.
In spite of what happened to me. And do you know what? I wouldn't want to live my life again, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Because of who I am, what I do. I mean, I love who I am now.
Yeah,
and I've never loved myself before.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't mean that from a
No,
point
it's
of
fine.
view. I never used to like myself, let alone love myself. You know what I mean?
And let's bring that out then.
Sorry.
So we'll come to that particular part. But as I said, I love what you do, mate. 'Cause I think you're such a love. Like, I think, and this is probably something really important, is that when people, since knowing you and the words that you use, or knowing from the relationship we've had, is that when people say, "Oh, you've been in prison," I actually think the better term now is actually criminal justice, going through the criminal justice system, which sounds a lot more, because I think saying you've been in prison, I think generates for maybe the general society, prison.
And again, that's where confirmation bias comes in.
Exactly.
They see prison and they see another prisoner do exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to get told with the
So
same brush.
I think prisoner, and there'd be different generations of prisoner. Why are you doing that? Or why are you hanging around with that? I wouldn't get yourself involved. Like, from everyone else. But when you say gone through a criminal justice system, it takes a whole different level of weight around it when it's exactly the same meaning, but you've been in prison. No. Do you know, I think that, personally. General public's perception, if you say prisoner, oh, God, Christ, that you'd be anxious meeting a prisoner. Or someone's been through the criminal process.
I can understand. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, but I can understand it.
Understand it.
I might have got it a few years ago, but when I was where do you want to go back to?
Right.
Teenage years, wasn't it?
Well, it's like ADHD, 4 backstories. But so teenage years.
Yep.
David, teenage years.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that then. Did you find that you've gone through your schools, gone through this sort of level of whatever that level, chaotic behaviour, coming to teenage years, adventures. Where did you sort of go from there, pathwise?
Well, I got excluded from, as I said,
at 16.
At 14.
At 14. Okay.
I've been permanently. I've been temporarily suspended and excluded, and put in detention and all things like that. And then eventually they had enough of me.
Right.
It was, they had tried to get me into another school in the local area, but the other school wouldn't take me.
Okay.
And so I had to stay there, and I didn't really like the school. I know I hated school. I was happier learning by myself in the library on my own time.
Just in your own.
Well, and I'd like to think I come across as quite intelligent because I learned what I wanted to learn, what I needed to. I didn't. You know what I mean? It's like I'd be the kid asking why all the time at school. Why? Because if I weren't, why? Why do I need to know this? What good on earth? What's it going to do for me?
The curious brain.
But then I'd been getting in trouble with the police a few times while I was still at school. And another teacher I got on quite well with, Miss Saunders, she used to do sociology. And I'd been juvenile court, and she had asked me to talk to the class about juvenile court.
What's juvenile court?
Juvenile court, basically, it's
young offenders.
Court. Yeah,
young offenders.
It's court for kids.
Okay. Okay.
Under 17.
I think juveniles think America.
Well, yeah. So you got juvenile, and then you had magistrates. The magistrates you'd hit or you become an adult in the criminal justice system at the age of 17 years and 10 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you pass 17 years and 10 months, you're an adult.
Yeah.
But then, funny enough, when you're in what's known as a Young Offenders Institute, you don't become an adult until you're 21 years and 10 months.
Okay.
They used to have a thing called Startup. Here we go, another completely different
another
subject.
backstory.
They used to have a thing called Startup. That as soon as someone hit 21 and 10 months, they'd go from a Young Offenders into a prison if they was on a longer sentence.
Right.
They don't call it that anymore, I don't think.
Okay.
Well, HMP and YRY are the same thing now.
Yeah. So going into your teenage years then, 15, so 16, 17.
So 14, well...
Did you go for a job at that point?
No, I was in jail.
So you was in jail?
I went away at 15, first time I went away.
So you did a 15 stretch?
No. I was 15 when I went away.
So you went 15, you went to juvenile
years,
prison?
I went to, it was known as detention centre.
So that's
back in the 80s,
so that is a jail. That is a prison.
You had a fence around it, and you were like
with other young offenders.
Yeah, there was 140 of us in.
What was that like?
Well, before I went to the detention centre, I was put on remand basically remanded to the local authority. So they put me in the children's
What
home.
for? What was it for?
Secure unit. Well, I'd been involved in a fight with a youth worker, a youth club, and I went on a run.
So you had a fight, and then you then went on the run, and then they put you in this juvenile prison.
I'd done him with. Done him. I hit him with a rounder. I mean, he was an adult when I was a kid, so I'd done him with a rounder's bat.
Right.
And then I went on a run, and then I one of the biggest crimes I got involved with as a kid was stealing cars.
Right.
Done it for fun. It was like every other night we were stealing cars, not to sell, just literally to joyride. And we could. And on back then, stealing cars was easy. You could do it with a pen lid.
So you've done the youth worker probably because of maybe.
Well, he had picked on a girlfriend of mine.
So you picked on a girlfriend from you, and you saw red,
Yep.
RSD, maybe,
Yep.
or whatever.
Oh, mate,
or
justice sensitivity has got me into so much shit over the years.
Just because your sense of justice with your ADHD.
Shit. So much trouble. Now I use it for good.
Yeah, of course.
Because I can understand it.
Yeah.
I can understand my ADHD.
Brain
I'm still
mindset.
learning about my ADHD.
Yeah,
even though I was diagnosed in 2010, it wasn't until my final prison sentence in 2015 that I put everything together and really started to understand about me.
Yeah. So let's piece that together.
I'm going back to 15 again.
Yeah.
Not 215.
2026 next. So you've gone from.
When I was a lad.
So you've gone from the youth worker, then you've gone into
I've gone on a run.
the
I went
run.
on a run. And then I stole
Just
a car.
because do you
and
think then
Well,
at that
always
element
stealing
of
cars.
empathy, remorse, because you probably I always find that when we are with
Oh, no, I didn't have remorse. I didn't want to get caught.
well, I always think with our ADHD.
Well, no, I didn't. He deserved it as far as I'm
No,
concerned.
do you?
If someone's... I will not have any remorse. If I think it's justified,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
But
what
do you
I've
think
done.
that was justified in your lens, or it could be justified from a different perspective? If it was, like with ADHD, we always
It's
get
my lens that matters. I don't care about anyone else. As I say, if I can justify it to myself, I'm happy with it. Thank you
but I
very
always
much.
find if you think that like if we had a conversation and then I don't know if I said something to you and I then went fuck off and then you went to me, that wasn't justified. But then when I left, I actually said, sorry, Dave, I got the wrong end of the stick. And then I come and apologise to you because you know what it's like. We'll leave here and we'll overthink the whole conversation. If we had a disagreement, I'd be playing it all night. And then I'd probably message you at 2 a.m. with a 5-page message or whatever. But do you always then think sometimes it can be the feelings and emotions that we get so caught up with, we just act on impulse.
Yeah, of course.
Where when we come away from that situation, we then think, oh, actually, your human brain kicks in and thinks, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No.
It does. That's a simple answer.
Well, yeah, no.
But,
I mean,
but that's what you felt.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a conscience. Do you know, come on, mate, I'm gonna have to jump forward again. I didn't have a conscience, and then when I did when I decided to turn my life around and want to lead a better life, I got a conscience.
Right.
Christ, I felt bad.
Right.
No one warned you about that.
For the past.
Yeah, no one warned you about that. Turn your life around. It'd be great. It's going to be a wonderful life.
So you then build up empathy.
Yeah.
But you've always had it, though.
You
have, because I think...
of course, because of the justice sensitivity side. And I wasn't a bastard to everyone. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I've done nice things for people.
Yeah.
I remember once being out with my mum when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I used to go out with my mum when we were shopping. I was brilliant around the house. My mum used to say, she didn't recognise who I was. And it was like, we were getting on the bus and I asked someone the time. I was like, excuse me, have you got the time, please? And she looked at me. It's like, I didn't expect you to ask him like that. Because she thought I was this little shitbag. I was, but I could still be normal. I could still be polite. I could still be friendly. I could still be nice. I had a wonderful group of friends. All right, we'd all get into trouble and things like that. What's known as acquisitive crime, so stealing cars.
So let's go to that then, because so you've done the youth worker, gone through that process. You're now at the I don't know. You've come out of juvenile, or whatever, juvie or whatever. What's gone from then?
I got released.
Drugs.
I'll say the day I got released. By the time I got home, because I was in Blantyre House and then I was in Eastwood Park, which is a detention centre up in Gloucester. It's now a women's prison, and I was living in Kent, so it's a long way. But that night that I got home from being released from Eastwood Park, we stole a car.
So the night that you,
Worked.
the night that you've
It was known
been
as
released,
short, sharp shock, right? And I've done 3 months, 3 weeks.
so the night you've left, I've been left out for this particular youth worker thing.
Centre, yeah, after
You've
getting
gone,
out of
you've
that
come straight
detention
out
centre, I come
and
out,
got a nicked car.
gone back, gone home, gone out with my mates and stole a car. Went out Fuego, it was.
Do you think that there was an element of your mates seeing you as this persona, this Jack the lad, or who I am? As a
you
kid,
get a badge, didn't you? Of course.
David will do it. David will do it, or do you think?
No.
And
No, it's
what,
my
what age
idea.
was you then?
I spent my 16th birthday in detention centre, so I was 16 when I come out.
So you
I spent my 16th, my 17th, my 18th birthdays
back
in
there?
custody. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And it was
90s.
all car theft.
No, car theft, violence, getting involved in fights.
Right.
Commercial burglaries. Didn't really do houses. Done a house, 2 houses for insurance purposes.
Right. But what's that? What's
Burgling
that mean?
someones house so they can get the insurance money. So,
you
kind
said
of
you-
were burgling it,
so-
but someone asked
someone
you to
said,
burgle
"Can you
it.
burgle my house?" And I'm claiming insurance.
They'd be out. They'd be at the pub,
And then they would
bingo,
claim you.
and then you earn a little drink.
How
out
do you
of it.
even? Do you then think like I'm listening to all of this, and I obviously see you as a very inspirational person to be able to come. I get a bit choked seeing good people like yourself get through to it. But do you think you actually really wanted to do any of this? As in, do you think you was branded as? Do you think you're branded as this
wasn't even
person?
half of it. It was probably a quarter of my brain going, "What are you doing, you nutter? Stop it!" And then,
But because
the
you're
other
branded as this person, you
3/4
feel like you had.
crack on.
Do you feel like that was the only life that you could possibly have in crime?
No, I had a great life. I wasn't committing crime all the time. Probably was actually if you
Yeah.
think about it, but was always up to something. Always up to something dodgy. I being part of the group. Now, when I'm being excluded from school, now
Yeah.
again, I accept full responsibility for everything that I did. Yeah, I don't try and minimise my responsibility whatsoever. But there are reasons as to why things happened. It's like ADHD. I didn't know about it. Well, no one knew about ADHD back then.
Yeah.
But even now, it was not a excuse. It was a reason. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and the reason why I don't commit crime now and I do the things that I do now is because I got to understand not just my ADHD, but I got to understand who I was.
But that must be quite difficult then, continuously going through crimes, burglaries.
Do you know what's more difficult? Trying to hold down a relationship, bro.
But
Crime was easy.
What
that
was the main
easy.
purpose?
That's what was expected of me. Do you know what I
really?
mean?
So that was
being a normal
you
person,
want
I couldn't do.
But that's what I'm saying. That was normal for you.
That what? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was normal for you.
We used to go
that
at
was your
weekends.
job.
Yeah, we used to go at weekends. And the thing was, when I was excluded from school, the only people who were permanently excluded from school, the only people I could hang around with during the day were other kids that were permanently excluded from school.
Yeah.
Or adults that didn't work, because obviously if they worked, we wouldn't be seeing them during the day. And the ones that weren't working that we hung about were involved in crime.
Right.
So, as I say, it started off acquisitive crimes. We'd do little things like commercial burglaries, and then we'd do bigger crimes and armed robberies and things like that.
So you've
I
done
remember
armed
getting
robbery?
involved when I was 14, and I remember getting involved in it and got quite a lot of money. I got a tenner. Right, but I wasn't bothered about the money. It's not about the money.
Do you think
it's
it's
about
dopamine?
the buzz? It's about the excitement,
dopamine.
and it's about the camaraderie, and it's about people patting you on the back when everyone else around you is calling you shit.
So really,
my God,
it's
Dave,
the
brilliant.
So as the ADHD, it's the
They
validation.
ain't my mates. Don't get me wrong, they're not my mates.
It's the validation.
It's the validation
David,
they give
you're
you.
fucking well good at that.
Yeah.
All right.
I tell you what, David, why don't you climb up and go through the window, because you're fucking great at climbing.
Oh yeah, right, I will.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? When you're being told you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, or you're this name, that name, because they can't get your name right because all your brothers and sisters, and then all of a sudden someone goes, "My God, you're good." That feels, mate. That's better than any drug. That better than any drug.
Yeah.
So of course, talk about people pleasing and things like that. The adrenaline, that dopamine hit. I was talking. Carl Mumford, our very good friend, Carl Mumford, who still blows me away that me and him are good mates, being an ex-copper. I mean, it was like
Chalk and
never the
cheese.
twain shall meet. And Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say.
But I was going to say to that, this element, really, you're keeping up with appearances to basically.
I won't
get
let my family down. I will let my mates down.
This is what I'm saying. You're keeping up with appearances to continue
Please
this
come over for
life
dinner tonight.
because you want the gratification of. But then, do you then think the gratification of your friends going, "Yeah, David, you're amazing," but do you think that's because you didn't get that at home?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Or at school. Because at school, it's like, I was just a little shit. That's like,
Because
God,
you were
here
good
he
at
comes
something then, and this
Yeah.
is crime was the good thing that you were at.
I'm brilliant at stealing cars. Really good at stealing cars. I wasn't a bad driver either.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think anyway.
Yeah. So how's that then developed then? How many? So you did armed burglary. You've done the cars. So how long have you spent in prison?
Over the years,
Yeah, over the years.
in total, about 15 years.
So you've done 15
Just
years
shy of
straight
15 years.
for different crimes, the burglary.
All different crimes, all over the years. Yeah. Two of my prison sentences, I served till the end of my sentence. I got out and then got recalled.
Did you get trouble in? Did you get? Was you also causing trouble in prison?
Do you know what? I was as a youth, as a young person.
Yeah.
Worst, I suppose, one of the worst. Well, I tried to take my own life in prison in 2009, but we'll come forward to that, back to that, forward to that, back to that.
Yeah.
But I was in Dover in 1987. It was while the
Right.
hurricane, October, Western Heights, and I was in the block. Not during the hurricane, but I was in the block there for 7 days. And the block in Dover Borstal, or Dover YO as it was, Youth Custody Centre, was at the bottom of the hospital. It used to be a barracks back in the day. And it's right on top of the hill. And then you go down this hill, and there's another building. It's like an admin building. It used to be a hospital. And round the back of it, you've got the old stables. And the old stables where the block was. And it was like all brickwork and wood. And it was like fucking horrible. It was one of the worst experiences of prison I ever had. And I kind of behaved after that.
Really?
I still got in trouble. Don't get me wrong.
At prison?
In prison as well.
In prison.
But I had a little bit more respect for the officers. Started like, it's their house, their keys. Don't get me wrong, I weren't yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, kiss my bum.
Yeah.
I want none of that. But I was a good prisoner. I become a good prisoner.
Because of that?
I
Do you think though, like I always find it with the ADHD, we thrive in a routine, like structure, routine.
I love
Do you
the
think,
routine
I was about to say this, I'm saying,
love the routine
because you are maybe not working, you're doing organised crime and all these sorts of other things, do you find then prison actually probably benefited you being there because it gave you routine and structure?
Detention centre, when I was 15, basically it's army. It was like proper army stuff. So it's like marching, parading, kit inspections, polishing all that sort of stuff. I learned to sew. I learned to do my boots. I still fold my clothes the same way as I got taught to fold them in detention centre. I don't do a bed pack anymore. But every morning you'd wake up, you have to make your bed pack up.
Right.
And it had to have like square edges, so your sheets had to be thingy. You got given this bit of hardboard that you had to your vest and your t-shirts and your pants, you had to fold it at that size. Everything had to be folded a certain way, and it had to be uniform. I loved all that. Loved it.
Yeah. You would have been good in the army.
I was going to get to that, and I come out of detention centre. I tried to join the army. All right, I said about nicking the car, but obviously during the day, me and my mate Mark, I won't mention surnames, but me and Mark, we tried to join the army.
Right.
But we both had criminal records, so they wouldn't let us.
Right.
And about detention centre as well. If I'd done just over 3 months. If they'd let me out after a week, I don't think I'd ever have gone back.
Right.
But where I'd done I got used to it, and I loved it. I ended up becoming a grade 3. You start off as a grade 2.
Yeah.
It's similar to the IEP scheme they have now, basic standard enhanced.
Yeah.
So you had grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Everyone started off as a grade 2, and then after a week you'll go in and they say, right, you're going to stay at grade 2, or no, your behaviour's not good enough, you're going down to grade 1. Yeah. And then after 3 weeks, there's a possibility of going to grade 3, and you go to grade 3 dormitory. You get to wear a different colour jumper, because that's how you tell your grades. You have a grey jumper, and it's either got a purple like thing around
Right.
the arms, sleeves, and the neck, or a red one,
Yeah.
or a green one, and that lets the staff know what grade you are.
Right. Okay.
And we were allowed outside the gate. We could work outside the
Right.
gate. We'd work in officers' mess, which is like virtually every other weekend there'd be an event or something going on in the officers' mess, and we'd go in there on the Friday to set it all up, and then we'd go in there on the Monday to tidy it all back down and break it all back down, and they'd give us half a pint of British Handy and things like that. Weren't allowed to smoke, or in the jail we'd go down to an officer's house, because obviously we had officers live right close by at the prison, and we'd do some work on their garden, and like the wife, or if the officer was there, gets a bacon sandwich. So he got looks after that. So it's like, I kind of, you learn that if you do good in jail, you get rewarded.
Do you think then, like going to it, because we haven't got long left, I want to cover just a few more.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, a few. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, a few more bits.
Only got a 15 on 56, for God's sake. What else are we going to talk about?
That's it. 100 topics. Kind of going to the. So you've gone to the prison, and what I want to touch on, the reason why you did these crimes. One, you said about obviously the gratification, the validation from your friends, or this, which are not your friends, but you know what I mean. Was that because to fund drink, drugs? Or was you very
no,
as I
say, we didn't really steal for money. We stole for fun.
So
Do you know
it was
like
okay. So I was going to
cars and things like that. That was for fun.
With the ADHD, you kind of.
It did come in. Money did come into it sort of later on, if you like, with drugs and alcohol.
So I was going to say, because
like
with ADHD, as addicted, as mentioned to you,
Yeah.
like we always get the, we don't know why we're drinking too. We're on fourth drink. We're on 8.
I spent a couple of years glue sniffing and
Right,
butane
okay.
gas. And I don't know if you remember thinners. You used to put thinners, what you had with Tipex on your sleeve at school and sniff it.
Right.
So I was into solvent abuse, basically. That's what started.
Do you think that was very much a cross addiction with drugs as well?
Drugs weren't too far behind, like hash. I didn't really have weed back then.
Right, okay.
Brixton Bush we used to get.
Right.
Horrible stuff it was. Proper twiggy stuff. But hash, brown.
Right, yeah.
Brown, that's fucking heroin. Black.
Yeah.
Hashish. So that was something you used to smoke. But amphet, as a young person.
Do you think that was just to fill a void though? It was just kind of like, all right, do you know
what?
It was there.
Everyone else was doing it.
So you thought, do it, I'll do it because we're doing it.
And I'm not going to lie, with a joint, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked the feeling.
Just feeling chilled.
With alcohol, I liked the feeling to a point, but then alcohol become a part. I've become quite violent on alcohol.
Right.
So that kind of
it brought a different version of you out.
Yeah, I didn't like me when. When I was drunk and in that mood,
right,
I could have a drink and not be like.
So someone had a pissed off conversation with someone, you would go.
Yeah, if I drank with the wrong mindset, something would be happening.
So we've got 10 minutes left, and I want to talk about the ADHD.
Yep.
And the work you're doing now.
Okay.
You got your ADHD diagnosis 2010.
Yep.
How has that changed your life? Because I tell you what, listening to what you're saying, I could speak to you for ages, and I see the way you are online, the way you are now, the work that you do, and I think it's so important to be remembered that when you're going into the going through the criminal justice system, I did it better then, and speaking to someone, it actually helps having the lived experience that you do, so people actually relate and resonate. Would that be right? The conversations can resonate. Maybe people that are neurodivergent.
You can have certain conversations in prison, and someone's going to know that you've been in prison.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How has that then changed your life? Because going from armed robbery, armed burglary, car theft, to then completely change your whole life around.
So in 2010,
what was that moment?
So in 2010, I got my ADHD diagnosis.
In prison? So
yes.
In prison.
And
how did that even come about to give you that?
Well, through what's the not supervision? What's the word I'm looking
Through rehabilitation.
No. Mental health.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So I was going through mental health team.
Right. Okay.
Basically.
Because you mentioned about suicide earlier, and did you have?
Well, that was in 2009.
So
it's afterwards that I was diagnosed.
So after diagnosed, you had the suicide ideation.
No, it's before.
So you had before
diagnosed.
that, and then you had the ADHD diagnosis.
Yeah. And the 2009, that was the last attempt on my life.
Right.
And that was pre-diagnosis.
In
2010 when I got my diagnosis. So 2009 I tried to take my own life in prison.
Right.
I tried to take my life. I've had many attempts on my life. Not very serious ones, I don't think. Probably cry for attention. Or,
right. Okay.
But the one in 2000, I wanted to be dead.
Right.
When they found me on the floor of my cell, got me in the hospital, stomach pump, I'd taken an overdose, and I was really fucking angry when they woke me up.
Right,
I didn't want to be alive.
Right.
God, I'm glad I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then I had a conversation with one of the officers from Safer Custody, and well, obviously I got on from that.
Do you think that?
But
That's
I got
now
really
changing
angry
then?
with my diagnosis because it's like it was another label. I've been given label after label after label after label, and there was no. It was like, there you go, thank you very much. Off you go. You wouldn't do that to a cancer patient, would you? Oh,
It's
by
like
the
off
way,
you go.
You've got
Off
cancer.
you go. You're go and be free.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what do I do?
You've got ADHD, mate. Sweet. What next?
Well,
Hello, anyone there? So I was really angry with it, and then carried on getting up to no good. And then 2:15, I was at the lowest point I've ever been in my life, believe it or not. I've had some low points in my life, but I was sleeping in the church doorway, so I was street homeless. Yeah. I was on crack, heroin, amphetamine, alcohol, barbiturates, tranks. When you go into prison, you have what's known as a 5 card. It's a piss test 5 card.
Right.
I failed basically all of them,
Right.
apart from one. But they do another one separately, buprenorphine, and I failed on that as well, which is something known as Subutex. That's how bad I was. I mean, I was on everything.
To escape
I
all
was
this, you just wanted to.
I went back to Kent to where my family were in 2013. I was on remand in HMP Cardiff,
Right.
and I got what's known as judge in chambers. So basically, I was in prison and I was given bail, but I had to get out of Wales, and I had to go to I ended up going to live with my daughter, and she lived in Kent, which is where I was from and where like friends and family were, and I went backwards. So I got out of Kent. I was living in Norwich for a bit, and so I moved back to Norwich in 2015 with a girl, and it lasted 24 hours, and I was on the streets, and I'd basically disengaged from everybody prior to kind of going to Norwich, and I just had I was left with a thought: do I want to live or do I want to die? And obviously, I chose to live, but I didn't want to live the life that I was leading anymore. And I was like, well, what can I do that's different? It's like, well, what do you know about yourself? And I started to have this huge reflection.
A sort of spiritual awakening or something ish.
Mate, I was out my nut on heroin, so I don't know if it was a spiritual awakening.
Or just.
But and it was then it was like, I need to be back in prison. The only place where I know I don't want to live the life that I'm leading, but I cannot turn my life around out here.
Yeah.
I need to go somewhere where I know that I can, where I'm comfortable and I can do it.
Yeah.
And so I went out and I committed a crime on purpose
To get
that
back in there.
would give me long enough. I actually had worked out, again, I was probably thinking irrationally, but to me it's rational.
Yeah.
Right, I need 5 years in prison.
So you thought about the crime that you could potentially get for 5 years.
Shoplifting, smashing a window, I'm going to get a smack on the wrist. Do you know what I mean? Or an ASBO.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to totally be. So I needed to get, and I worked out that I wanted 5 years, so I'd need to do 2.5 years in. What could I do? And I ended up doing I'd done an armed robbery of a news agent at knife point. And I played the game, and then when I got to Crown Court, I went guilty on the basis they don't write any reports, because I didn't want a life sentence.
Right.
And although some of the reports, there's a number of different reports get written about you in prison, in court, you've got a pre-sentence report. because I've been arrested for and convicted of violent offences before,
Yeah.
there was a possibility that on the 3 strikes or whatever, that I could get a life sentence. And there's a thing that was known as the Dangerousness Report, 1991 Dangerousness Act.
Yeah.
Whereas I could have been given a discretionary life sentence. It probably wouldn't have bothered me at the time. I could have still sorted my life out.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be in prison for life.
Right.
And so at a certain point, I went guilty. And the judge actually thanked me for going guilty when I did, saying, don't have to put the victims through any stress, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And rather than start the sentence at 7 years and
Yeah.
give me 25% off going guilty, he started off at 5 years, give me 25. So I ended up with 3 years, 9 months. No, only 5 years.
Yeah.
And I landed back in reception. Said, well, mate, I've needed 5 years. I'm going to have to move on pretty quick.
So wait, we've only got a minute. And I
that's
want to
gone
just talk
mad.
about
It's
the,
gone really
I
quick.
told you, I want to quickly talk about the amazing work you do now.
Yep.
Like, obviously, we have only probably touched the surface of what you do, but you do the school to prison pipeline
Trying to
project.
end the school to prison pipeline.
So
Justice reform.
tell us a little bit. So, what? That's a hard one.
We
I've got
cannot
so many
we-
questions.
We cannot reform the criminal justice system until we reform the education system.
Right. So
Because
from the
one
start.
feeds into the other.
Yeah.
It's one feeding into the other.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Right, and we're gonna have to leave it there, unfortunately. But I've
We'll
got
have to
so
do
many
this again,
questions.
mate.
Yeah. After everything you've done, you've gone through the ADHD diagnosis. You now understand yourself. You're now this reformed person. You want to do well.
From the City of London.
Yeah, working with people that have gone through the criminal justice system or in the criminal justice system, working with the assessors. Do you think that there could be ever a moment in your life where that you could feel the less purpose and go back to crime?
No.
No.
No. Do you know what? I think I'd kill myself first because I'd be too ashamed because of who I am now. And I've got purpose. I've got identity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got identity, and it's a positive identity and a positive purpose.
And that must mean a lot to you to be loved by the people that you spend time with, the people that
It's
you've
great, but I love myself.
yeah, which is important.
And yeah, it is, because one thing I learnt in prison is you can never be alone. You can truly never be alone if you like the person you're alone with.
yeah.
And that's I actually, it was like the biggest resource that I used in prison was a mirror, so I could have a word with myself. Obviously, the library and other things, and
Yeah.
because there was certain things that I needed to
Yeah.
understand and work out, and a bit of counselling as well.
Yeah.
Like I had to deal with some of the traumatic things that had
Yeah.
happened in my life. But now they're all positives because I use them as a tool.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
like.
yeah.
My experience is now a tool, so it doesn't affect me as much as it used to. It doesn't
Because it
impact
helps others
It
to
does.
understand and
It's cathartic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's cathartic.
Because you've then
And to
managed
know
that now.
and to know that perhaps that if I've gone through all of that and I'm stopping other people going through it,
Yeah,
so be it. Because I don't remember the pain. You don't remember pain.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You don't remember the pain.
yeah.
But yeah,
You just
do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
when you talk about it sometimes, it's like, or not talk about it as such because I'm in control of talking about it. It's when it creeps up on you.
yeah,
You're watching EastEnders. All
yeah.
of a
Like you
sudden,
said, yeah.
where'd
Like
that
toothbrush. Where did that come from?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's crazy how
Yeah.
your brain works sometimes.
But people can change.
of course, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. If they didn't, our reoffending rate would be 100%.
And do you think the ADHD diagnosis does give you that chance of understanding of who you are?
Look, if you don't understand how your brain works, you can't change.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to understand what's going on in your brain,
Yeah.
so that you can move forward. Once I understood everything,
Yeah,
look, I'm still learning. I'm
Yeah,
still
yeah.
educating myself about it. I'm still learning about
Yeah.
my ADHD. But that's the thing, it's my ADHD, it's not yours.
Yeah, yeah,
Your ADHD is your ADHD.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not mine. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's kind of this blanket term, if you
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
we all experience it separately and differently.
Yeah,
No, there are a lot of commonalities, of course
Yeah.
there are. Like, not having long enough to talk on the podcast.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so, mate.
Oh,
Thank
mate,
you so
no,
much.
honestly,
I
I
really
loved
enjoyed
it.
coming
I
on,
could
and
talk to
you've been so
day.
vulnerable. So I really,
No, I have,
really
but I
appreciate
have-
you.
Yeah, no,
Thanks.
love it. No, thank you.
Brilliant, mate. That's it.